Now that we've got the engine and transmission installed in our 68 Camaro, we're going to take some time to talk about some of the things that are required to make the car run, as well as setting up the electronic controls and ignition system.
We wanted to run electronic fuel injection on this big block Chevy in our Camaro, but we really didn't want it to look like it had a lot of hoses and injectors and wires all over the place. Plus, we wanted a system that would have auto-tuning capabilities, and that pointed us right to the FAST EZ EFI system. And this system is nice because it's got a central throttle body that is basically the same shape as a carburetor, and when it's installed, it looks like this car could have a carburetor. The FAST EZ EFI system really did a good job of combining a lot of the components of a separated EFI system into just a couple of parts. When you look at the throttle body, you've got integrated fuel injectors on the front side and on the back side. The map sensor is built into the side, the air inlet temperature sensor is built right in, and there's a throttle position sensor over here, and the idle air control is all built into one unit. And this installs really easily, just like a carburetor. It literally just drops right on a standard intake manifold. On the engine, the only thing you have to add beyond this is a coolant temp sensor, which we have screwed into the side of the head. And then later on, we're going to add the O2 sensor, which goes in the exhaust. So most of all of the electronics are combined right here into this unit. The other thing that we did is mounted our fuel regulator, which is part of the fast fuel system, right here on the intake manifold, so that you could see the gauge nice and easily when you're setting fuel pressure. And this has a vacuum signal to make sure that it keeps the fuel pressure regulated properly under full throttle or at idle. And this is adjustable, and again, it's part of the FAST kit. So overall, the packaging is real nice because in our case, this whole unit will fit cleanly under a traditional circular style air filter unit, and if you open the hood, this would look like it had a traditional carburetor. You'd have no idea it's fuel injected unless you really start to look at it. So it's not every day that a high-performance part can actually be measured to see what it actually does. And we've been working here with some MSD superconductor 8.5 millimeter spark plug wires that are going on our 490 V8 powered 68 Camaro that we're building for the SEMA show. But I wanted to take a minute to actually test these things, because like I said, you can't always test to know what stuff does. And MSD makes a claim that their superconductor wires have really low electrical resistance, but it's not hard to check. So check this out. First of all, the meter we're using is this Matco, it's just a multimeter, and it's set on the ohms electrical resistance position right here. So if I touch these two wires together, these leads, it rings when there is essentially zero electrical resistance, okay? This wire at the bottom is a store-bought non-MSD stock type coil wire. When I run the leads into this to measure the resistance, our meter is showing almost 39 ohms, well 37, 38, kind of bounce around there. And this is a wire that's, you know, about 10 inches long. This is an MSD superconductor coil wire, about the same length. Check this out. Ring 0.03 ohms. This wire basically has no electrical resistance, and we measured it and proved it. And what this means is that the electrical current path from the coil down to the spark plug wire is going to just zing down that wire, and the wire itself isn't going to absorb any of that energy and turn it into heat or wasted energy. So the car will start better, and at high RPM will have, you know, all the spark energy that your ignition system is creating. This other wire with the 39 ohms, it's still not, you know, a super high resistance wire, but you're not getting everything that your ignition system is creating. And one more little test, this other wire, another MSD, but this one's like over 2 feet long. So we'll just run that one real fast. Again, 0.14 ohms. And this is representative of probably about the longest plug wire you're going to have in your car, maybe another foot. MSD advertises 50 ohms or less per foot, but we're finding it's like much less than that. And it's hard to believe that an MSD superconductor wire of the same length has almost 100 times less resistance than the store-bought, you know, stock type stuff. So we've been using these plug wires for a long time, and now we know why, because they actually do what they say they're going to do. It's pretty cool.
In addition to performance transmissions, TCI also offers the EZ-TCU, which is an electronic transmission control unit. It works in conjunction with the FAST system by reading the throttle position and the RPM inputs and using that to control transmission functions. The TCU is able to be programmed with a similar handheld to the EZ EFI. All you do is put in some basic parameters about your car, gear ratio, tire size, and your desired shift points, and then you're able to drive the car and fine-tune it to your liking. After we'd set up the base tune on the EZ-TCU, the next thing we need to do to fire the engine was set the base tune on the FAST EZ EFI. The base tune is really simple. You turn the key on, plug the EZ EFI handheld module into the PCM, and you follow the prompts. It asks you some basic questions: your engine size, your target idle RPM, and your air-fuel ratio. And once you've gone through all that, the next thing you do is you set your throttle position by hitting the button with the gas pedal released, and then you floor it and you hold it and you hit the button and let it calculate. Once you've done all that, you're ready to start the engine.
All right, this time we're enlisting a good luck charm.
Yay!
The help of Gene Kranz, Apollo Flight Director. Failure's not an option. Never have we lost a man in startup of any of our vehicles. It's not going to happen on Gene's watch. And you'll notice, read that. It says, to Kevin, aim high. I wish that was to me. It was some guy on the internet.
After a successful first start on the motor, the majority of the mechanical work had been completed on the car, and it was finally able to move under its own power.